God often speaks in quiet ways, so stay sensitive to His voice, because not every message from Him comes with noise. Not every direction comes with a sign you can immediately recognize, and not every answer arrives in the way you expect. Many people miss what God is saying simply because they are looking for something loud, something dramatic, something impossible to ignore. But God frequently chooses stillness over noise, peace over pressure, and subtlety over spectacle. In your daily life, in the ordinary moments, in the pauses between your worries, that is where His voice gently reaches you. Sometimes it is a feeling you cannot explain, a calm that settles your heart when everything around you feels uncertain. Sometimes it is a thought that brings clarity when you are confused. And sometimes it is a quiet nudge telling you to move forward, or to stop, or to wait. That is God speaking, not to overwhelm you, but to guide you step by step. If you are always distracted, always rushing, always filling your mind with noise, you may overlook these moments. You may ignore the very direction that could change your life. You have to create space in your life to hear Him, space in your mind, space in your heart, space in your routine. When you slow down, when you become still, when you allow yourself to reflect instead of react, you begin to notice His presence more clearly. God does not compete with the noise of the world. He invites you into a deeper connection, one that requires attention, one that requires trust. The more you learn to quiet your fears and your doubts, the easier it becomes to recognize His voice. There will be times when His voice challenges you, when it asks you to step out of your comfort zone, when it leads you in a direction that does not make immediate sense. In those moments, it is easy to question, easy to hesitate, easy to fall back into what feels safe. But God sees what you cannot see. He knows what is ahead, and His guidance is always rooted in purpose. Even when it feels uncertain, even when it feels unfamiliar, His direction is leading you toward growth, toward strength, toward something greater than where you are now. You may think God is silent because you are not hearing anything clearly. But silence does not mean absence. Sometimes God is speaking through patience, teaching you to trust His timing. Sometimes He is speaking through waiting, building your character, preparing you for what is coming. Not every message is immediate. Not every answer is instant. But every moment has meaning when you are willing to stay connected. Stay sensitive, stay open, and stay aware, because God is always communicating in ways that align with your journey. Do not ignore the peace that guides you. Do not dismiss the thoughts that uplift you, and do not overlook the quiet reassurance that reminds you everything will be all right. The more you listen, the more you recognize, and the more you trust, the clearer His voice becomes. Delays in your life are not denials. They are divine preparation. And what feels like something being held back is often something being carefully built in your favor. Because God does not work on your schedule. He works with purpose, precision, and perfect timing. When you are waiting for something you deeply desire, whether it is success, healing, a breakthrough, or a change in your situation, it is easy to feel discouraged. It is easy to question why things are not happening yet. And it is easy to assume that the answer must be no. But a delay does not mean you have been forgotten. It means there is more happening behind the scenes than you can currently see. In those moments of waiting, God is often preparing you in ways that are just as important as the blessing itself. Because if you receive something before you are ready, it may not last, it may not grow, and it may not bring the fulfillment you expected. Preparation shapes your character, strengthens your patience, deepens your faith, and equips you to handle what is coming. What you are becoming during the delay is just as valuable as what you are waiting for, and sometimes even more important, because the blessing without the preparation could become a burden instead of a breakthrough. You may look around and see others moving ahead, achieving things faster, reaching milestones you have been praying for, and it can feel unfair. It can make you wonder if you are being left behind. But your journey is unique, Your timing is intentional, and your path is designed specifically for you. God is not comparing your progress with anyone else, and neither should you, because what He has planned for you requires a different process, a different pace, and a different set of experiences to bring it all together in the right way. There are also things God is arranging that you may not even be aware of, people He is positioning, opportunities He is aligning, and situations He is adjusting so that when the right moment comes, everything fits together in a way that could not have happened earlier. What seems like a delay may actually be protection, keeping you from something that was not right, or timing you perfectly for something that will be far better than what you originally expected. If things had happened sooner, they might not have worked out. They might not have been stable, and they might not have led you to the level of growth and success that is truly meant for you. Waiting is not wasted time. It is active preparation, even when it does not feel like it, even when it feels slow, even when it feels uncertain. Every day you continue to believe, every moment you choose patience over frustration, every step you take without giving up, you are moving closer to what God has already set in motion. The delay is shaping you, strengthening you, and positioning you for something greater than you imagined. So do not lose hope. Do not assume the answer is no, and do not let impatience cause you to give up too soon, because what is coming will be worth the wait. Trust that the timing is being handled with care. Trust that the preparation has purpose, and trust that when it finally happens, you will understand why it could not have happened any sooner. What feels like rejection is often God's protection, and in moments when doors close, when opportunities slip away, or when people walk out of your life, it is easy to take it personally. It is easy to feel hurt, confused, and even question your worth. But not every closed door is a loss, and not every rejection is meant to harm you. Sometimes it is the very thing that is keeping you from a path that was never meant for you. God sees what you cannot see. He knows what is ahead, and He understands the consequences of choices and situations that you may only partially understand. So when something does not work out the way you expected, it does not mean you were not good enough. It often means that something better, safer, and more aligned with your purpose is being prepared. You may have prayed for something with all your heart, believed it was right, and felt certain it would happen, only to face disappointment when it did not. And that kind of rejection can feel deeply personal. It can make you question your direction, your decisions, and even your faith. But God's perspective is far greater than yours, and His plans are not limited by what you currently desire. What you see as a perfect opportunity may carry hidden challenges, unseen consequences, or long-term difficulties that would have held you back instead of moving you forward. And God in His wisdom may close that door to protect you from pain you never knew was coming. There are also times when rejection is not about removing something from your life, but about redirecting you towards something greater, something that fits you better, something that aligns more deeply with your purpose and your potential. If you had received every yes you asked for, you might have settled for less than what was truly meant for you. You might have missed the path that leads to real growth, real fulfillment, and real success. Rejection can feel like a setback, but in many cases it is a setup, guiding you step by step towards something that will make sense later, even if it feels confusing now. It is important not to let rejection define your value, because your worth is not determined by a single outcome, a single opinion, or a single moment that did not go your way. God's view of you does not change based on a closed door. His plan for you does not stop because of one disappointment and your future is not limited by what did not happen. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, begin to see it as direction, as a sign that you are being guided away from something that was not right and towards something that will be better. Sometimes protection does not feel comfortable, it does not feel fair, and it does not feel like a blessing in the moment, but over time, with reflection and experience, you begin to understand why certain things did not work out. You begin to see how those closed doors actually led you to open ones that were far more meaningful. What you once questioned may later become something you are grateful for, because it kept you from settling, from struggling unnecessarily, or from stepping into something that would not have served you well. Trust that even in rejection, there is purpose, there is care, and there is guidance. What did not happen is not the end of your story. It is part of a greater plan that is still unfolding, and as you continue forward, you will begin to see that what felt like rejection was actually protection, leading you exactly where you need to be. You are already equipped for the purpose placed inside you, and even if you do not feel ready, even if you doubt your abilities, even if you think you are missing something important, God has already placed within you everything you need to step into the life you are meant to live. Many times people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect skill set, or the perfect level of confidence before they take action. But the truth is, perfection is not required. Readiness is not about having everything figured out. It is about trusting that what you have right now is enough to begin. The gifts, the talents, the mindset, and even the challenges you have faced have all been shaping you, preparing you in ways you may not fully recognize yet. You may look at others and feel like they are more capable, more experienced, or more deserving of success. And that comparison can make you feel small. It can make you question whether you truly have what it takes. But your journey is not meant to look like anyone else's. God did not create you to copy someone else's path. He designed you with your own unique strengths, your own perspective, and your own purpose. What you carry within you is specific to your calling, and no one else can fulfill it the way you can. When you focus too much on what others have, you overlook what you already possess, and you underestimate the power that is already inside you. Sometimes the very things you think are weaknesses are actually part of your strength, shaping your character, building resilience, and teaching you lessons that will later become valuable in ways you never expected. Your past experiences, both good and difficult, have given you insight, understanding, and depth that cannot be learned overnight. Nothing you have been through is wasted. Every moment has contributed to who you are today, and who you are today is already capable of moving forward. There will always be reasons to hesitate, reasons to feel uncertain, reasons to believe you are not ready yet. But if you wait until you feel completely confident, you may never take the first step. Growth happens in motion. Confidence builds through action, and clarity often comes after you begin, not before. God equips you as you go. He strengthens you as you move forward, and He reveals more to you step by step. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to trust the next step. It is also important to recognize that being equipped does not mean the journey will be easy. It does not mean there will be no challenges, no doubts, or no moments of struggle. But it does mean you have what it takes to handle those moments, to learn from them, and to continue moving forward. Strength is not the absence of difficulty. It is the ability to keep going despite it. And that strength is already within you. Stop waiting for a sign that you are ready. Stop doubting whether you are capable, and start recognizing the value of what you already have. You have been prepared in ways you may not fully understand yet. And as you take steps forward, you will begin to see how everything you needed was already there. Trust yourself, trust the process, and trust that you are equipped for the purpose that has been placed inside you. Faith is trusting even when you cannot see the full picture, and in many moments of life, you will find yourself standing in uncertainty, wondering how things will work out, questioning what comes next, and feeling the weight of not knowing, but that is exactly where faith begins to take shape. If everything were clear, if every step was visible, and if every outcome was guaranteed, there would be no need for faith. But faith is not about having all the answers. It is about believing even when the answers are not yet visible. It is choosing to move forward with confidence, even when your circumstances suggest hesitation, and even when your mind is filled with questions. There will be times when the path ahead seems unclear, when your plans do not unfold the way you expected, and when the future feels uncertain. And in those moments, it is easy to let fear take control. It is easy to assume the worst, and it is easy to lose hope. But faith invites you to see beyond what is immediately in front of you. It reminds you that just because you cannot see the outcome does not mean there is no plan. And just because you do not understand the process does not mean it is not leading you somewhere meaningful. Faith is holding on to the belief that there is purpose in the process, even when the process feels confusing. Trusting without seeing does not mean ignoring reality. It does not mean pretending that challenges do not exist, but it means choosing not to let those challenges define your outlook. It means recognizing that there is more happening than what you can currently perceive, and that your perspective is limited while God's understanding is complete. When you rely only on what you can see, you may feel restricted, you may feel stuck, and you may feel uncertain about moving forward. But when you choose faith, you open yourself to possibilities that go beyond your current situation. There will also be moments when faith requires patience, when nothing seems to be changing, when progress feels slow, and when you are tempted to give up because you do not see immediate results. But faith is not measured by how quickly things happen. It is measured by your willingness to keep believing even when time passes without visible change. It is easy to believe when things are going well, when everything is working out, and when the path is clear. But true faith is revealed in the waiting, in the uncertainty, and in the moments when you have every reason to doubt, yet you choose to trust anyway. Faith also involves letting go of the need to control every detail, because trying to control everything can create stress, frustration, and disappointment when things do not go as planned. When you hold on too tightly to your own expectations, you may miss the better outcomes that are unfolding in ways you did not anticipate. Faith allows you to release that pressure, to accept that you do not have to figure everything out, and to trust that the direction you are being guided toward has purpose, even if it looks different from what you imagined. As you continue to walk forward without seeing the full picture, you will begin to notice that each step reveals a little more. Each moment brings a little more clarity, and each experience strengthens your trust. Over time, you will look back and realize that even when you could not see the way, you were still being led, still being supported, and still moving in the right direction. Faith does not eliminate uncertainty, but it gives you the strength to move through it with confidence, knowing that what lies ahead is being shaped with intention and care. Closed doors are guiding you toward better opportunities, even though in the moment they may feel like setbacks, disappointments, or even failures, because when something you hoped for does not work out, it is natural to feel discouraged. It is natural to question why things did not go the way you planned. And it is natural to wonder what you could have done differently. But not every closed door is a mistake, and not every ending is a loss. Sometimes it is a redirection towards something far greater than what you originally had in mind. There are moments in life when you are certain about a path, when you invest your time, your energy, and your emotions into something, believing it is the right direction, and when that path suddenly closes, it can feel confusing, it can feel unfair, and it can leave you searching for answers. But what you cannot always see in that moment is the bigger picture, the one that includes opportunities you have not yet encountered, experiences you have not yet had, and growth that is still unfolding. A closed door is not the end of your journey. It is simply a change in direction, a shift that is leading you somewhere else. Sometimes the opportunities you lose were not aligned with your long-term purpose, even if they seemed right at the time. And if those doors had remained open, they might have led you into situations that limited your growth, drained your energy, or kept you from discovering something better. What feels like a loss now may later reveal itself as a necessary step. Something that cleared the path for new possibilities. Something that made space for opportunities that are more suited to who you are and where you are meant to go. It is also important to understand that better opportunities often require preparation, and sometimes a closed door is creating the space you need to grow, to learn, and to become ready for what is next. If everything you wanted worked out immediately, you might not develop the strength, the resilience, or the understanding needed to handle something greater. Growth often comes through change, through challenges, and through moments that push you out of your comfort zone. And a closed door can be the very thing that moves you into that space of growth. You may not immediately see the new opportunity when a door closes, and that can be one of the most difficult parts. The waiting, the uncertainty, and the feeling of being in between what was and what will be. But just because you cannot see the next step does not mean it is not there. Sometimes you are being guided gradually, one step at a time, and the new opportunity will appear when the timing is right, when you are ready, and when the conditions are aligned. Instead of focusing only on what did not work out, try to shift your perspective toward what could be ahead, because every closed door removes one path and opens the possibility for another. The energy you spend holding on to disappointment can be redirected toward growth, toward new ideas, and toward new directions that you may not have considered before. When you allow yourself to move forward, instead of staying stuck in what was lost, you create room for something new to enter your life. Trust that closed doors are not blocking you. They are guiding you. They are shaping your journey in ways that are not always immediately visible. And they are leading you toward opportunities that are better aligned with your purpose, your growth, and your future. What you thought you needed may not have been what was best for you, and what is ahead may exceed your expectations in ways you cannot yet imagine. Your current situation is not your final destination. God is still working, even when it feels like nothing is changing, even when your circumstances seem stuck, and even when you cannot see clear progress, because what you are experiencing right now is only a chapter, not the whole story. It is easy to believe that where you are today defines where you will always be, especially when challenges last longer than you expected, when progress feels slow, and when the future seems uncertain. But your present moment does not have the authority to decide your entire life. It is only a part of the journey that is still unfolding. There are seasons in life where growth is happening beneath the surface, where change is taking place in ways that are not immediately visible, and where things are being prepared behind the scenes. Even though everything looks the same on the outside, just because you do not see results right now does not mean there is no movement. It does not mean there is no progress. And it certainly does not mean that your situation will remain this way forever. God works in ways that go beyond what you can see. And many times the most important changes are happening internally, shaping your mindset, strengthening your character, and preparing you for what is ahead. You may feel like you have been in the same place for too long, dealing with the same struggles, facing the same obstacles, and waiting for something to finally shift. And that kind of waiting can test your patience. It can challenge your faith, and it can make you question whether anything will ever change. But staying in one place for a season does not mean you are stuck permanently. Sometimes stability is part of preparation. Sometimes repetition is part of growth. And sometimes the delay you feel is actually giving you the time you need to develop the strength required for what is coming next. It is important not to let your current situation define your mindset. Because if you start believing that this is all there is, you may lose the motivation to keep moving forward. You may stop expecting better, and you may settle for less than what is possible. Your perspective matters because how you see your situation influences how you respond to it. And how you respond determines whether you stay where you are or continue progressing. Even in difficult moments, choosing to believe that things can improve gives you the strength to keep going, to keep trying, and to remain open to new opportunities. There will come a time when you look back at where you are right now, and you will see how far you have come. You will recognize the growth that was taking place. And you will understand that this moment was not meant to hold you back, but to prepare you for something greater. What feels heavy now may later become a source of strength. What feels uncertain now may later become clear. And what feels permanent now may turn out to be temporary. God is still working in your life, even in the silence, even in the waiting, and even in the moments that feel unchanged. Trust that your story is still being written. Trust that your future is still being shaped. And trust that where you are right now is not where you will always be. Because greater things are still ahead, and this is not the end of your journey. As you reflect on everything that has been said, let it settle deeply within you, because this is not just a message to hear, it is a truth to carry with you into every part of your life. God is speaking to you now, not just in one moment, but continuously through every season, every challenge, and every quiet pause you experience. His voice may not always be loud, but it is always present, guiding you, shaping you, and leading you towards something greater than you can currently see. When life feels delayed, remember it is not denial, it is preparation. When doors close, remember it is not rejection, it is protection. And when the path ahead seems unclear, remember that faith is trusting even without the full picture. You are not lacking, you are already equipped for what lies ahead, and every step you take, even the uncertain ones, is part of a journey that has purpose. Nothing you have experienced is wasted. Every moment is contributing to who you are becoming and where you are going. Do not let your current situation define your future, because this is not your final destination. There is more ahead, more growth, more opportunities, and more blessings than you can imagine right now. Even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, God is still working, aligning things, opening new paths, and preparing you for what is next. So move forward with confidence. Stay sensitive to His voice. Trust His timing and hold on to your faith, because the story is not over. In fact, it is still unfolding in ways that will one day make perfect sense. What is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you, and the best is yet to come.